You should write your screenplay in whatever language your intended readers understand and produce projects in. But if you have a character that speaks a foreign language in your script,
不是说好了吗？把全部这个 Google Eyes 拔下来。
you'll have to choose the best approach to communicate your intentions for that dialogue to your reader. Foreign language dialogue is any speech meant to be performed in a language different from your headings and descriptions. They're languages you wouldn't necessarily expect your reader to know. So while Korean would be a foreign language in an English language script,
아가씨, 무슨 안 좋은 일 있어요?
English would be a foreign language in a Korean language script.
Is it okay with you?
But to make things easier in this video, we're going to focus on English language films and TV. If you have a story that needs to be performed in English but takes place in a time or setting where a foreign language would normally be used, you can suggest a character speaks a foreign language using accents, like we discussed in the last video. The softly accented voice of a mature woman narrates in English.
A story like mine should never be told.
If you want to inject a bit more flavor, you can pepper in words and phrases from the foreign language without writing everything in that language.
Hey, Theo, ¿qué onda?
These people are all your family?
In a way.
But the general meanings of those words and phrases should still be obvious in context. Unless, of course, your intended audience isn't meant to or doesn't need to understand the foreign language dialogue in your script. In that case, you can simply write the dialogue in the foreign language. Contempt. Or if you don't speak the language yourself, you can mention it in the description. The director says a few long sentences in Japanese.
あなたは書斎にゆっくりと座っています。そしてテーブルの上にはサントリーウイスキーがあります。
Withholding the meaning of foreign language dialogue can be a powerful tool to show your character's confusion or isolation.
カメラを見て。
But if you want a character to actually speak a foreign language and need the audience to understand it, the best practice is to write the dialogue in English and indicate the language and subtitles in a dialogue parenthetical, narrative description, or note. Dialogue parentheticals are a great option when you have just a few lines of foreign language dialogue, in Cantonese with subtitles.
行咩行啫？而家搞到成個咁樣。
Simply write in plus the intended language within the parenthetical, usually followed by with subtitles, or a semicolon and subtitle. If a whole conversation is in a foreign language, you might not want to use a parenthetical every single time a character speaks. They speak in ancient Egyptian, subtitled. Which is why adding that same in-language information and some sort of subtitle technical direction within the description can be the better choice. If foreign language dialogue will be used throughout an entire scene or even the full script, a standalone or inline note establishing a unique identifying format, like italics for the subtitled dialogue, is often the most efficient approach. In subtitled Spanish indicated by italics, Alba instructs her granddaughter.
Mira la flor que tienes en tu mano, Jane.
Then all you have to do is use italics anytime you write that foreign language throughout the rest of your screenplay.
Mira qué tan perfecta es. Qué tan pura.
But I'd only recommend doing this when you have just a single foreign language. Juggling multiple foreign languages with different stylings is far too confusing to read. Some writers don't bother mentioning whether foreign dialogue is meant to be subtitled. The idea being that if the reader can see the English translation, then the audience probably should too, in perfect French.
Tu sais qui je suis? Je ne sais pas qui je suis.
But it's always possible the writer just didn't speak the language and expected production to translate, which is why I'd recommend just including the information to avoid any ambiguity. For foreign language speech that uses non-Latin characters, there's a new trend toward using dual dialogue formatting with the foreign language on the left and the English translation on the right.
내 나이에 왜 일을 하고 싶겠어? 요즘 아침 먹을 시간도 없어.
엄마 아빠 걱정하지 마세요. Business is good. 나 그때 엄마 아빠 원한 땅 사줄게. I'll build a big house.
Assuming you write fluently in both languages, this can be a helpful technique to avoid any mistranslations by directly providing the foreign language text for the actor. While foreign dialogue formatting helps the reader make sense of languages they're not expected to understand, some forms of communication don't even utilize speech, which is why you should check out this video to learn the best methods for writing nonverbal dialogue like texts, IMs, and sign language.